I will take a beef and cheddar meal,
Small, medium, or large?
medium with a Diet Pepsi or Coke.
Anything else?
That's it.
Your total is $733.
One, two, three, four.
Hi, guys. What you doing? Happy Thursday, my fabbies. It's Thursday. So what are we going to talk about today? That's right. Binge eating. Anybody know anything about that? I kind of do. I kind of know a lot about it. So I wanted to discuss it. It again is something that we don't discuss. It is so taboo because it's always a secret and nobody should know what we're doing. Am I right? But first, let's define what binge eating is. Google, what does binge eating mean?
Here's the definition of binge eating. The consumption of large quantities of food in a short period of time, typically as part of an eating disorder.
That sounds about right. A large quantity of food in a short period of time. Yep, I've done that. And I've done it in secret. So I am today telling the world my secret. Even though, really, is it a secret? I was 333 pounds. Really? It's not like I wasn't consuming a pizza, 12 donuts, a Milky Way bar, and some Cheetos? I mean, really? Hello? But let's first start with just my eating in general. And I don't know how many of you can relate to this, but I would eat breakfast and I would be sitting there eating my breakfast, and you know what I'd be thinking about? That's right. I'd be thinking about lunch. And then I would go out to lunch. And typically that would mean I would go out for fast food. So there I am eating my burger and my large fry. And don't forget the large Diet Coke, because Diet Coke cancels everything out, right? But when I'm sitting there in my car eating my burger, I'm thinking about what am I going to have for dinner? More importantly, what's going to be for dessert? But here's the irony of it all. At work, if someone would bring sweets to work, I would always decline. Oh, no, thank you. I'm fine. So it looked like I wasn't eating anything. But really, I was. And I don't think I was fooling anybody. Fooling myself, probably. But here's the rub. When everybody was away, and let's say the sweets were in the kitchen with the tinfoil on it, I would very sneakily go in there, lift up the tinfoil, take a couple bites, put the tinfoil down, and walk away, because nothing happened. But something did happen. And that's right. 333 wonderful pounds of fat was created on this sexy body of mine. And I did it all myself. All myself. So, why did I do it? Why did I find it so important for me to put as much junk into my face in a day? Well, that is something I had to figure out. And it's something we all have to figure out if we do that. I found out that number one, I'm an emotional eater. Big surprise. I'm a stress eater. Big surprise. I'm a bored eater. I live in Wyoming, seriously, and I don't play outside. And that is something that has taken me a long, long time. Now, back again in the story that I did back this winter about how did I gain weight, let's also not forget how I was nurtured with food. And that was, again, oh, I'm sad. Oh, honey, let's make you some cookies. You're happy? Oh, let's bake a cake. Every emotion that I felt as a child, I was given food in either to consult me or to celebrate. That's going to confuse a kid. Another thing that I have learned of why I do binge or did binge, well, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to say that I haven't binged since I started this journey in January, but I have. But one of the things when I was doing a binge that I had never done before was really sit there and analyze how was I feeling during the binge. So I was doing research while I was shoving donuts and eclairs and ho-hos and Twinkies into my pie hole. The one thing I noticed was the sensation of the actual swallow. With every swallow I would have, I could feel this warm calm come over me. So it was just kind of very euphoric for me. But it was the swallow. It was the swallow. Now, I've struggled with binge eating probably most of my life. I will admit that I tried to be bulimic because that would have solved a lot of my problems, is what I was thinking. But I failed as a bulimic because every time I would throw up, I would pee my pants and have an asthma attack. So that was not an option for me. So the only option for me was to eat and swallow. And I'm not making fun of bulimia at all because it's a serious thing. And thank God, I did not go down that road. Why do we binge? Why do I binge? And the main thing that I came up with was it was my drug of choice. It's not alcohol. It's not heroin. It's not Zoloft.
Huh?
It's food. All of us have some sort of coping mechanism for when we get stressed out. Unfortunately, mine is food. And when you have an addiction, you will do whatever it takes to get what you need to get your fix. And I'm going to admit that I've even eaten out of the garbage before. Maybe that donut that's just kind of right on top of the garbage can. This is maybe a, kind of a clean paper towel. You pick it up, you poos on it, blow it off, smell it, and then it goes in. I've done that more than once. What the hell? When you think about it, that should have been a big red flag for me to stop. Nope. I remember some of my biggest binges were always on Friday night. And because that was the start of the weekend. So right after work, I would go to the store. Now, mind you, I'm not just a salty person or a sweet person. I need salty, sweet, salty, sweet. So when I binge, I go all out. So a typical binge for me would be, okay, let's go get some donuts. I get donuts because I'm buying them for company that are coming over for Saturday, right? Then I would buy my choice of chips, would just be plain chips or barbecue chips. I'd get some dip to go with it, I would get ice cream. I would get What else would I get? I'd get crackers. I'd get cheese dip. I ate I'm going to say probably over 10,000 calories at one sitting. Easy on a Friday night. Now, keep in mind, I hid a lot of that from my husband too. So when I got home, I was home before him, I would put some of the food in my closet so he wouldn't see it. So then, what do? You watch a movie, you're eating, everything is feeling really good. You know, you eat salty, sweet, salty, sweet. You're full. You're starting to get full. Do you stop? Oh, hell no. You keep going because this is your time. So you keep eating and eating and eating. Finally, you feel like you're going to throw up. But remember, I can't throw up. I'm going to pee my pants, shit my pants, and then have an asthma attack. So guess what? I sat there and I was miserable. And not only was I miserable then, the next day, I should have owned stock in some sort of antacid company because I went through a lot of it. My favorite, however, was the berry flavor. I would do that pretty much every weekend, over and over. Days become years. Years. And I didn't stop. It's not until finally this year I decided I need to stop. I am killing myself. And the realization for that, I think, was finally when I physically started to hurt. When I physically felt like I could not walk. But it scared me. It scared the shit out of me. And not only that, years and years and years of being overweight and healthy, my blood pressure went out of control. And you know, you kind of need a good blood pressure so you don't stroke out. So that was a wake-up call. So I had to decide real quick. Do I love food enough? Or do I love myself enough? Which one? Which one am I going to choose? Well, I decided myself. I decided finally, you know what? You need to pull your head out of your ass and let's do something because you ain't happy. Yes, you're stressed out. And you know what? There are other ways to calm yourself. And I had to figure that out. I know. A lot of you watching this right now can relate to this story. We're binge eaters. We're secretly binge eating. We will never tell people how much we actually eat when we're by ourselves. But there has to come a point where we have to figure out, do we love food more or do we love ourselves? And there's a lot of people who never pick themselves. But I'm picking myself. I am finally picking myself because I am sick and tired of not being able to live life the way I know I can. And that's the question to you guys too. All of my binge eaters out there, what do you love more? Do you love food more or yourself? Try to answer that question honestly. And if you pick yourself, one of the hardest parts is over. You've decided that you love yourself more than food. Then you start figuring out why you do it. That ain't easy either, but you have to be honest with yourself. You just have to. You have to give yourself tough love. And the thing about motivation is bullshit. We only have so much motivation. But again, it's back to, do you love yourself enough to change? And when you go through the hard work, a lot of tears, a lot of sadness, a lot of anger. I feel a lot of anger because of what I've done to myself. But then it goes back to that forgiveness. And then you start your new journey. You start. And again, this is not a fast journey at all. And that's another thing we have to get out of our heads. You can't just stop binge eating. You can't just stop eating food the way we used to. It's still there. It's habitual. It's a drug. Unfortunately, alcoholics, drug addicts, all they have to do is stay away from their drug. We have to eat our drug every day. That's not fair. It's not fair. But guess what? It is what it is. And I hate that saying, but it's true. So we have to figure it out. I can't fix things for you. I can only fix the things for me. So again, I am modeling, I am shining light on my dark secret today because I want to disinfect it. And it's very freeing to be able to admit this to you guys. I hope this helps motivate some of you to look at yourself, to forgive yourself, and to try to create a different path that you can go on. Because again, I'm worth it. And a lot of you are starting to know you're worth it too. So, with that said, I want you all to have a fabulous weekend. I want you to analyze yourself. I want you to forgive yourself if you screw up, but start thinking about things that you can do to change your life. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Mwah.